What is up, guys? I guess you thought you'd never see me do one of these again, but today I'm here on the windy and noisy coast of Cape Town to do a new bike reveal. Since the last vlog I did, I think I've had maybe 3 bikes since then. So just a little update: my Aprilia Tuono, the gearbox decided to blow up. So I had to replace the gearbox, and then I decided to sell that bike. And then I got a BMW S1000 XR, which I kept for all of 2 months, and then I sold that. So now today I can show you what my new bike is, going back to the super naked roots. But here it is. It is a 2017 Yamaha MT10SP. I'd never ridden an MT10, let alone an SP, before I got this bike, and I hadn't really considered the MT10 before, as spec wise the standard MT10 spec wise wasn't as great as the Tuono or say the Super Duke or the S1000R, but this one, the SP model, is the only one that I would have considered getting. So thankfully one of these came up for sale in a private sale, and I decided to jump on it. Never even actually haven't ridden the bike. I bought it, and then when I went to collect it, and that was the first time that I had ridden the bike. So I've had the bike for about 3 weeks now, and I've done a few little mods already. I've put some frame sliders on, locally produced frame sliders from Kane Industries. I've put some low profile stomp grips on here. This isn't the MT10 kit. I bought a standard kit and then just cut it to fit how I like it, because I didn't actually like the fitting of the standard kit, because it comes down over here where my leg doesn't really even touch, and it just didn't look as nice. So some people don't like this, but personally I prefer the way I did that. Then I got a Pipeworks N-can and link pipe. This pipe is extremely loud, even with the baffle in. I kept the baffle in at the back there. Without the baffle, it's just insane. It pops like you can't believe. But I like the look of this pipe. The low exit, the high exit pipes don't look too bad. It's just that when the pipe sits over here, you have a whole long extra link, and it looks, I don't know, it just looks a little bit janky. When the bike is standing up, this is tucked away nicely and just looks a little bit sleeker. So yeah, that's the pipe. And then just this week I had the Woolwich Racing ECU flash done on the bike, and I actually think that this is a required mod for this bike. So that as standard, the fueling on the bike is okay, but there's a very definite flat spot at around 4,000 RPM, and once you get onto the power, you have nothing, and then a massive jump in power, which is not very nice in the corner, and that RPM range is kind of where you're sitting. Yeah, so that RPM range is kind of where you're sitting when you're riding this bike. So I did 1 or 2 rides around the coast here and further out, and I can definitely say that without flashing the bike, you can ride around it, but I would highly recommend having the bike flashed, Woolwich or FTSU, either one. So yeah, I had that done, and then I did a track day yesterday, and I could say there's quite a massive difference. Especially slow corners, you can finesse the throttle a bit easier. The power is a lot more linear, there's no more jump. So on the standard tune, you would roll on from say 3,000 RPM, you would roll on, and then it would be nothing, and then a massive power, and the bike would want to lift. But now with the Woolwich Flash, the power is just super linear all the way up. So I highly recommend that. So yeah, A couple of things about the SP over the MT10 standard model. Obviously you get the nice Öhlins suspension, semi-active, front and rear. So that will adjust your rebound and compression while you're riding. And you get two modes of that. So you get A1 and A2. A1 mode is the sportiest setting, while A2 is the comfort setting. I'll show you the dash. Okay, so this is the dash. It's straight off the R1M. It's very nice to use, quite user-friendly. The dash itself is user-friendly, but personally I think the button layout that Yamaha went for was quite cluttered. It takes a little while getting used to all of these buttons. So to control this information over here, you use this little menu wheel, and you can cycle through a bunch of stuff. All of these little menus are customizable. Then to cycle your modes, your power, your traction and your suspension, you use a combination of these up and down arrows and this mode button at the front here. So if we press mode, it cycles to your power, your traction and your suspension. Then if you want to change the mode, you have to press either up or down. So now it's B mode, C mode, D mode. So A mode is the most aggressive mode with the most aggressive throttle response. Then if you click mode and you go to power, then you can adjust the power response. So this is how much power is being delivered through your throttle turn, basically. So the mode is your throttle response, and the power is how much power you're getting per rotation of the throttle. So power 1 is the most aggressive. From what I've heard, if you from 0 to 75% throttle is full power in power mode 1, and power mode 2, or maybe it was 50. So then power mode 2 is 0 to 75, and then if you go to power mode 3, so that would be 0 and fully open would be 100% power. So if you're in power mode 1, from no power to full power is just that much of the turn, and in power mode 3 would be all the way open. Then you have your traction control. So traction control 1, 2 or 3, 3 being the most intrusive. You won't get any wheelies. Will keep the front down quite easily. Power mode 2 will give you a little bit of a hop. Power mode 1, you can lift the wheel quite high. I'm not that great at wheelies, but it lets you lift the wheel quite high. The traction also controls obviously how much slip you can have on the rear wheel. This doesn't have an IMU like some other bikes do, so there's no lean angle ABS or any of that kind of stuff. It's just takes slip values. Then your suspension. So A1 is the sportiest or stiffest suspension mode. A2 is kind of a comfort mode, and then you have M1, M2 and M3, which are all manual modes, which you can set up yourself. So what I did at the track yesterday was in manual mode. I played around with the settings and set up a nice track setup. So each time I go to the racetrack, I can just put in an M1 and the bike sets itself up straight away. So yeah, then if you want to get into the menu, you need to push this wheel in, and that will take you to the main menu. Display mode, you have street or track. Street mode is what you saw now. Track just shuffles some of the information around and shows your lap time. YRC, so this is where you change all of your power modes, all of your riding modes, power modes, traction. You can turn the quick shifter on and off, and these are your suspension settings. Then in each of these modes you can still adjust your suspension, so your compression, front rebound, rear compression, rear damping, so you can customize all of that. If we go back again, lap timer maintenance is just your oil change intervals. Unit, you can switch between kilometers an hour and miles per hour. Wallpaper, you can basically set whether you want the dark background or the light background constantly, or you can have it change with the light settings. I just leave it on auto so it can change with the lights. Shift indicator, change when it flashes. display is just you can change where the color of the display is those little menus at the bottom here. You can change all of that, brightness, clock, or reset, etc. So yeah, that's pretty much the bike. I'll give you a startup sound quickly, so you can hear what the bike sounds like. Let's start it up. So yeah, bike sounds pretty good. I've also kept the AIS, which is the air injection system. So when you decelerate, there's a lot of popping. It sounds like shotgun blast going off. It's really cool. I quite like scaring people with it. But yeah, overall I'm really liking the bike. I've had it for 3 weeks now, and yeah, I can't say too much bad about it. Just turn it off, and I'm very, very happy with my choice. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll hopefully be creating a few more in the coming weeks. But yeah, sorry, I've just been quite lazy.